All right, let's go for it. My name is Sawyer Patrick. I am 20 years old, and I use he, him pronouns. When I came out to my parents, I just stood up in front of them and told them, and it was absolutely one of the most terrifying things I've ever done. I made a sheet to try and help them understand this. My mom is trying to ignore it. She keeps saying she just needs time. My dad didn't say anything. He just, shut down and left. My dad is just rejected it. I can't talk about it. Everything I do to sort of express my gender and my identity, he just rejects. So I'm Catholic. Mom, I don't think, is very particularly religious, but my dad is. I experience my faith very differently than he does, and I think that means we're in conflict a lot of times, because I believe that this is the path that God wants me to walk, and he believes categorically that what I am is a ridiculous societal thing that we've made up in the 21st century. And because we both believe we're right on a, divine scale, it makes it very difficult to make him see how important this is to me. I think gender stereotypes are complicated because on the one hand, I fulfill them, but on the other hand, I'm trying to fight them. For example, I have a really high voice, and so I get misgendered a lot because of that. When I first came out, and especially after I faced a certain amount of pushback from my parents, I was like, I can do nothing feminine ever again in my life. And then was miserable because I never felt like I was masculine enough. So since then, I've been trying to reclaim some of my femininity. Finding the balance is the hard part, but also the most important part. The hardest part of my transition so far is just living it out every day. I have to live in a woman's dorm, and I have to use women's bathrooms because I'm too afraid of going into the men's bathrooms. I can get so bogged down in all the ways that society tries to remind me of what it thinks I am. The best part of my transition, it's always the support. When you come out to someone and they do it right, they always hug you. It's the universal language. I went to Bethlehem and I came out and I got hugged. It happens no matter where you go, and it was such a wonderful feeling. Before I came out to my brother, I think he kind of knew that I was experimenting with my gender, and he was cleaning out his wardrobe, and he gave me half his clothing, and it was so much fun to finally have men's shirts and a suit, and we just did this basically dress up, and he taught me how to wear a suit and how to tie a tie and all this different stuff that I'd never done before, and it was wonderful. And I just got such a sense of joy to wear these clothes and to present this way. And it's called gender euphoria, when you find a way of expressing your gender that makes you happy, so happy you just can't contain it. A lot of people believe that sex and gender are synonymous. Sex is determined by your body, by your genitals, that sort of thing, but gender is completely unrelated to that. That's why I'm transgender and not transsexual. People think you were one thing and now you're I was a girl and now I'm a boy. And this can be hard to explain to people, but I was always a boy and am now a boy. And in addition to that, a lot of people say, that I'm a guy trapped in a girl's body. But that's not true either. If I'm a guy, then this is a guy's body. If you want to talk to a transgender person, if you want to, learn a little bit more about them, a lot of us are really open to talking about ourselves. We are our own favorite subject, after all. You should definitely ask their pronouns. Never ask us about our genitals. You can ask them, why they picked their name. A lot of us have really unique stories about how it came about, and it's fun to share those. I picked my name Sawyer. I actually just Googled a list of gender-neutral names. I found Sawyer, and it made me think of Tom Sawyer, which I'd read in middle school as a 6th grader, and I wanted to be Tom Sawyer in 6th grade. I thought he was so cool. He was confident, and he could talk people into shit, and I just thought he was the greatest. I'm passionate about storytelling. I'm an author. I love writing. I love talking about fictional characters and mapping out fictional worlds, but also my own story. That's why it's so cool to be able to share this with you and talk about myself, because every story is so important to tell. If freshman high school me had seen a video like this, I think things would have been very different, and I think that's why it's so important to share these stories. I hope that someday we'll reach a point where instead of looking at something new and going, I don't understand that, and therefore that can't be right, we'll say, I don't understand that, can you please tell me more? and we'll be able to talk about these things and share these things in a way where we'll feel comfortable and we won't feel pressured. If people were just a little more open to something they didn't immediately understand, I mean, that's what I really hope someday, not even in my lifetime, just eventually, we'll be able to get a little slice of.